strategic nuclear and non-nuclear forces, forces and means of the aerospace forces, the Southern Military District, strategic missile forces, the Northern and Black Sea fleets were also involved in the exercises. We're trying to get Deepthi also live from the newsroom in Delhi, but we are getting in the first pictures as well. First pictures of Putin holding that drill. This is a big escalation by Russia, in fact, which has held a strategic nuclear drill, and Russia has confirmed that it held the drill earlier today. And from the details that they've put out, the tasks, they say, envisaged during the training of the strategic deterrence forces were completed in full, and all missiles reached their targets. Let me go across to my colleague Deepthi joining us live. Deepthi is joining us live from the newsroom in Delhi. Deepthi, this is what India was fearing. In fact, Rajnath Singh earlier spoke to his Russian counterpart asking for de-escalation. Russia claimed it was preparing for what it called a dirty bomb attack by Ukraine. Looks like Russia is keeping all options open now. All right, we'll just go across to Deepthi in just a while now, and these are more details coming in. Putin has monitored the strategic deterrence forces drills, and according to the statement by the Kremlin, the tasks envisaged during the training of the strategic deterrence forces were completed in full. All missiles reached their targets, confirming the specified characteristics, specifically in connection with the nuclear deterrence drills that were conducted. And Russia, as per the statement that has just been issued, has said that under the leadership of Vladimir Putin, ground, sea and air strategic deterrence forces were trained, adding that practical launches of ballistic and cruise missiles took place during the drills, and the exercises were planned earlier to test the readiness of military command and control bodies, launch combat crews, and also crews of warships, strategic missile carriers to fulfill their tasks, as well as the reliability of weapons of strategic nuclear and non-nuclear forces and means of the aerospace forces. And the Southern Military District, the strategic missile forces, the Northern and Black Sea fleets were also involved in this exercise, according to the latest details coming in. Let's also go across to Abhishek joining us with more details. Abhishek.
All right, Niranjan, so breaking news development coming in this time from Russia, and that's nuclear drills being carried out in response to all the talk that's happening around whether one side or the other, the Russians or the Ukrainians, would be using the dirty bomb. And Niranjan, in fact, just about an hour back, the Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu had spoken to India's Defense Minister Rajnath Singh, and he had made it clear that Russians are preparing for the worst in terms of the Ukrainians possibly using the dirty bomb, and the Russian forces are being prepared to work under radio contamination situation, alluding to the possibility of the Ukrainian side using it. But obviously the Ukrainians have been maintaining that the Russians who might press the nuclear button. And with this, all right, let's go to Deepthi. She's reporting live from the newsroom. Deepthi, over to you. More details if you could share about this international update that has come about Russia confirming that nuclear drills are being carried out in the backdrop of nuclear saber rattling, which in fact is happening from both the sides, the Russians and the Ukrainians.
Oh yes, and a story of a lot of importance, Abhishek, that we are reporting right now on. And trust Republic, we must tell our viewers that Republic is going to keep you ahead on this developing story by the minute. Now, this is a copy from APT, and that tells us that on Tuesday, it is when the Biden-led administration said that Russia had notified Washington of its action plan. And the US estimates, Abhishek, here that Russia is going to be carrying out this nuke weapon test that we are now confirming. This is the annual GROM exercise of the Strategic Nuclear Forces, and because of this pact, Russia otherwise is obliged to provide notification of such missile launches. This is what a US official is quoted as saying. Now, what happens now? I think that's the first question that's going to be on top of our viewers' mind as we break this story live here on Republic. This development is going to be a potential threat, no doubt, not just to the US, to its allies, as Putin has declared the chances of use, again and again, that many said. Yes, Abhishek.
We are in fact joined by Nikita Menkovich, political analyst from Moscow. In fact, it seems it's live. Nikita, if I could come to you and please tell us what's the situation on the ground. We cannot really ascertain which side to believe. The Ukrainians have been saying that the NATO should come in because the Russians are nuclear saber rattling and that they are preparing a situation where there could be a nuclear war. The Russians might use a dirty bomb. But now we have a situation where Russian Defense Minister spoke to Indian Defense Minister Rajnath Singh just a while back and said that it's the Ukrainians who could be using a dirty bomb, and that's why the nuclear drills that are being carried out, so that the Russian defense forces are fully prepared to work under radio contamination situation. Which side to believe, Nikita?
First of all, it was only information about Ukraine is preparing to use nuclear or so-called dirty radioactive bomb. There was no information, there was no reasons to think that Russia did prepare something like that. In fact, as far as we know in Moscow, from many sources at the West, some kind of bomb was got by Ukraine from the NATO countries. This device is dislocated in the city of Nikolaev and may be used by Ukrainian forces against population of Kherson region who supports Russia. Ukrainian forces are attacking the land around the Kherson city, but can't achieve any success. They are leaving there thousands of dead bodies at the field. So we're afraid that Ukrainian fascist regime will use this NATO device. We don't know, is it nuclear or a dirty bomb, to attack Russian position, to attack civilian population of Kherson, to manage to break Russian forces' line. It is a problem. We're dealing not with so-called Ukrainian state, but with a terrorist organization. It is a big mistake of United States to give these terrorists a weapon, which is dangerous for all people around. We think that all countries, including India, should make pressure on Washington and on so-called Ukrainian state to stop this activity, which can provoke the nuclear war. I think that India should break all relations with so-called Kiev regime. There is no legal government in Kiev. There are only NATO puppets. If you want to discuss anything with them, you may deal with Washington, because they are doing what Americans said to them. In fact, if you want to make something against this threat, you should help Russia to liberate Nikolaev, to take these nuclear weapons from the hands of Ukrainian terrorists, to help Russia to liberate Ukrainian people from NATO occupation. That is the problem. That's what should be done.
All right, Nikita, it seems you have already come to a conclusion that the Ukrainians are under NATO occupation and they need to be liberated. Obviously, a very Russian view of it, Nikita, but then the world is concerned that there should be no nuclear saber rattling. We should not be going that distance in that direction where a nuclear situation emerges, irrespective of whether it happens from the Ukrainian side or the Russian side. Thank you so much for joining us from Moscow. That was... All right, let's go back to Deepti. Deepti, if you can share more details. Remember, the Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu, General Sergei Shoigu, spoke to Rajnath Singh just about an hour back, and the briefing note about the conversation makes it clear that in a very detailed conversation, the Russian defense minister gave a picture of what's happening on the ground. According to them, of course, the Ukrainians have been taking provocative actions around the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant, for example. And General Shoigu explained to Rajnath Singh that in the last 4 months, the Ukrainians have carried out multiple attacks, 39 fire attacks around the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant, creating a situation where there could be radiation. So I think we are looking at a crisis where if the war gets prolonged, Deepthi, we could be heading into a situation where some desperate general, some desperate army officer might press the nuclear button. I mean, Europe is looking at a disaster in that sense, Deepthi.
Oh yes, totally, Abhishek. And you know, as we were listening into this entire conversation that you just put out here, a first-person account of what's possibly going on right now, and how do experts really read into this? The story has moved very, very fast. Now, this is again a copy from Reuters that I'm quoting right now, Abhishek, as we are reporting live for our viewers. It says that the officials have expressed confidence in their ability to discern the difference between a Russian drill and any move by Putin to make good of the nuclear threat. So I think because this is still an evolving situation, every attempt is being made to ascertain what really is going on. Is this just a part of a drill, or there is more to this? Is this essentially being done to set out a message, considering the kind of responses that you've heard, whether from the US, whether from India? You did mention how Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh essentially has also underscored that this is not the age to go for a nuclear warfare, and you know, no one should actually venture there. But again, as I said, very limited information and extremely important to help our viewers understand what we are talking about. Abhishek, the story that has moved over the last few months has touched a raw nerve, because people across the world today want to know what's going to Putin do next. What will the US do next? Where is Europe going to go? You know, you've just had the new British Prime Minister. So the story moving very fast. On the other side of this quick break, we will keep you on top of this story. Is this just a nuclear drill by Vladimir Putin, or there is more to this? Do not go anywhere. On the other side, more live updates and international perspective to the story that Republic is breaking right now. The Congress has also hit out at the AAP for the so-called Hindu card, and the party says Arvind Kejriwal has absolutely no ideology, and he's been using from victim to the secular cards now again and again to get the votes in the upcoming election.
देखिए, इसकी ना कोई धर्म की राजनीति है ना जाति की है, इसकी नीरी वोट की और नोट की राजनीति है। इसको लगता है कि धार्मिक बात करने से वोट मिलेगी, तो ये धार्मिक बात करने लगेगा। आपको याद होगा, एक समय यूथ फॉर इक्वालिटी बनी थी जो आरक्षण के खिलाफ थी, उसके मंचों पर जाके इसने भाषण दिया। फिर कहता है कि मैं आरक्षण के साथ हूँ। जिसने एक दो बार मुझे याद है ऐसे सम्मेलनों में कहा कि साहब मैं तो नास्तिक व्यक्ति हूँ, ईश्वर में मेरा विश्वास नहीं करता हूँ। आज देखो हर पूजा पाठ में बैठे दिखता है। फिर कहता है कि जाति की राजनीति ने तो देश खत्म कर दिया। जाकर कहता है ऐसे वैश्यों के सम्मेलन में कि मैं एक आपका ही भाई हूँ, मैं भी वैश्यों में से आया हूँ। फिर कहीं जाता कहता मैं हिंदू हूँ। तो इसका तो जिस तरह जहाँ जैसा वोट मिलेगा करेगा। मुझे तो दिक्कत ये है कि अगर इसको कभी कभी पाकिस्तान चला जाए और पता ना चले तो हो सकता वहाँ भी जाकर कह दे कि मैं तो बिल्कुल पाकिस्तानी हूँ, मुझे वोट दे दो। इस आदमी की कोई अपनी निष्ठा, कोई अपनी समझ नहीं है।
Arvind Kejriwal has played the Hindu card ahead of the elections. The Aam Aadmi Party chief has appealed to the Prime Minister to include pictures of Lord Ganesha and Goddess Lakshmi on the currency notes. He says this move will help the country prosper.
आज मेरी केंद्र सरकार से, प्रधानमंत्री जी से अपील है, भारतीय करेंसी के ऊपर एक तरफ गांधी जी की तस्वीर है वो वैसे ही रहनी चाहिए। लेकिन दूसरी तरफ श्री गणेश जी की और श्री लक्ष्मी जी की तस्वीर।
The BJP has hit out at the Aam Aadmi Party, calling the Arvind Kejriwal-led party a hypocrite. The BJP says that on one hand, the Aam Aadmi Party insults Hindu gods. On the other hand, the party is using the same Hindu card for elections. The BJP has called this an election stunt and an attempt to shed their anti-Hindu image.
All right, we are continuing with our focus on escalation in the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war, with the Russian sources attributing to Kremlin that nuclear drills have been carried out by Russian defense forces. In fact, this is in the backdrop of all the talk that's happening around the use of dirty bomb, and we seem to be hurtling towards an escalation in the ongoing Europe crisis. In fact, just about an hour back, the Russian Defense Minister General Sergei Shoigu, spoke to Defense Minister Rajnath Singh, and the readout from the Russian side says that the Ministry of Defense has arranged for countering possible provocations of Ukraine. The means and forces are alerted to operate amid radioactive contamination. And senior geopolitical analyst John Bass joins us over the phone. John, coming to you, we have John Mark Dugan, actually expert in geopolitical policy, military strategy, and former U.S. Marine, joining us over the phone. John, we have a statement coming in from Kremlin saying that the Russian forces have carried out nuclear drills, and that these strategic drills are aimed at preparing the Russian soldiers to work under a radioactive contamination environment. You think willy-nilly the Europe war is hurtling towards a nuclear situation? John?
It's a very volatile situation indeed, but this is a situation that's been created by the West. If you remember, they were flying their nuclear bombers, the B-52s, just last month, doing nuclear drills, and now we have evidence that that Ukraine is creating dirty bombs. And in fact, what you won't hear yet, but you'll hear it soon, is that one may have already been detonated in Kherson. So we have look. Russia has a lot of reason to be concerned to protect its own interests.
No, John, did you just suggest that one dirty bomb has already been used in Kherson? And was that done by the Russian side or the Ukrainians? Must be Russians, because Kherson is a Ukrainian territory.
Well, so there has been a canister that has been found. It was blown up. It was launched by the Ukrainians, and a lot of soldiers from the Donetsk People Republic have been hospitalized because of it. And these are canisters that have radioactive markings. They are written in Ukrainian. They were created by a Ukrainian nuclear waste company from Western Ukraine. So, yeah, you haven't heard it yet, but you're going to very soon.
All right, John, we'll try and come back to you. There seems to be some audio issue there. But John Mark Dugan, a former U.S. Marine and strategic affairs expert, suggesting that one dirty bomb has already been used in Kherson in the ongoing war, possibly by the Russian side, given Kherson is Ukrainian territory. On that note, Major Gaurav Varra also joining us over the phone. Major, the situation seems to be getting a little tense, little worrisome, insofar as the Europe front is concerned, with the Russian sources attributing a quote to Kremlin, saying that Russian defense forces have prepared themselves for working under a radioactive contamination environment. They have carried out nuclear security drills.
No, absolutely. I think for the past 48 hours or so, we've been hearing that Ukraine has prepared a dirty bomb and possibly used it, and what Russia is doing is in retaliation, whereas Ukraine says that they have not done it. So I think a lot of what you're seeing on your screen right now, Abhishek, is posturing by the Russians because they're suffering losses, their forces have retreated, and you see this entire thing about getting volunteers to fight, 300,000 volunteers to fight, is not exactly picking up. They're suffering loss of morale. They have to do something which is shocking. So the world comes and intervenes and says, okay, now the fight is over. Because Russia does not have the appetite to sustain this war for a longer period of time because there are no wins which can be presented in front of the Russian people. This entire nuclear thing. Now they say that, the dirty bomb is being prepared by the Ukrainians, that the Ukrainians have used it or will use it in the future. So we are getting ready. This is what fighting under nuclear, biological and chemical conditions, the NBC conditions as we call it in the army, the Russians are posturing and telling the world that this is what is going to happen.
All right. Thank you so much, Major Gauravara there. I'll have you back at 8 p.m. with me on the debate. We'll discuss how serious is the situation in Europe. On that note, a short break and we are back with stories in Live and Breaking.
It will take the Tamil Nadu government several hours to reveal the truth. What's the ISIS module in the Coimbatore cylinder blast case? We'll take you through all the details on This Is Exclusive.
The Congress is also hit out at the arc for the so-called Hindu card, and the party says Arvind Kejriwal has absolutely no ideology and he's been using from victim to the secular cards now again and again to get the votes in the upcoming election.
देखिए, इसकी ना कोई धर्म की राजनीति है ना जाति की है, इसकी नीरी वोट की और नोट की राजनीति है। इसको लगता है कि धार्मिक बात करने से वोट मिलेगी तो ये धार्मिक बात करने लगेगा। आपको याद होगा एक समय यूथ फॉर इक्वालिटी बनी थी जो आरक्षण के खिलाफ थी, उसके मंचों पर जाके इसने भाषण दिया, फिर कहता है कि मैं आरक्षण के साथ हूँ। जिसने एक दो बार मुझे याद है ऐसे सम्मेलनों में कहा कि साहब मैं तो नास्तिक व्यक्ति हूँ, ईश्वर में मेरा विश्वास नहीं करता हूँ, आज देखो हर पूजा पाठ में बैठे दिखता है। फिर कहता है कि जाति की राजनीति ने तो देश खत्म कर दिया, जाकर कहता है ऐसे वैश्यों के सम्मेलन में कि मैं एक आपका ही भाई हूँ, मैं भी वैश्यों में से आया हूँ। फिर कहीं जाता कहता मैं हिंदू हूँ। तो इसका तो जिस तरह जहाँ जैसा वोट मिलेगा करेगा। मुझे तो दिक्कत ये है कि अगर इसको कभी कभी पाकिस्तान चला जाए और पता ना चले तो हो सकता है वहाँ भी जाकर कह दे कि मैं तो बिल्कुल पाकिस्तानी हूँ, मुझे वोट दे दो। इस आदमी की कोई अपनी निष्ठा, कोई अपनी समझ नहीं है।
Arvind Kejriwal has played the Hindu card ahead of the elections. The Aam Aadmi Party chief has appealed to the Prime Minister to include pictures of Lord Ganesha and Goddess Lakshmi on the currency notes. He says this move will help the country prosper.
आज मेरी केंद्र सरकार से, प्रधानमंत्री जी से अपील है, भारतीय करेंसी के ऊपर एक तरफ गांधी जी की तस्वीर है, वो वैसे ही रहनी चाहिए, लेकिन दूसरी तरफ श्री गणेश जी की और श्री लक्ष्मी जी की तस्वीर।
The BJP has hit out at the Aam Aadmi Party, calling the Arvind Kejriwal-led party a hypocrite. The BJP says that on one hand, the Aam Aadmi Party insults Hindu gods. On the other hand, the party is using the same Hindu card for elections. The BJP has called this an election stunt and an attempt to shed their anti-Hindu image.
तो किस प्रकार से यू टर्न किया जाता है?
Arvind Kejriwal plays Hindu card ahead of elections. AAP chief appeals to the Prime Minister to include the pictures of Lord Ganesha and Goddess Lakshmi on the currency notes. He said that the move will help the country prosper. BJP calls out AAP calls the Kejriwal-led party a hypocrite. BJP said that on one hand, AAP insults Hindu gods, but on the other, the party is using the Hindu card for elections. BJP termed it as an election stunt and an attempt to shed anti-Hindu image. Baba Ram Rahim has declared himself Guru for life. Baba Ram Rahim is using his 40-day parole to tighten his grip over Dera Sacha Sauda. Baba Ram Rahim has a stream of political leaders coming in and paying respects to him. Who is exactly playing sugar daddy to the convicted Baba? Watch the burning question at 8 p.m.
Arvind Kejriwal has played the Hindu card ahead of the elections. The Aam Aadmi Party chief has appealed to the Prime Minister to include pictures of Lord Ganesha and Goddess Lakshmi on the currency notes. He says this move will help the country prosper.
आज मेरी केंद्र सरकार से प्रधानमंत्री जी से अपील है, भारतीय करेंसी के ऊपर एक तरफ गांधी जी की तस्वीर है, वो वैसे ही रहनी चाहिए, लेकिन दूसरी तरफ श्री गणेश जी की और श्री लक्ष्मी जी की तस्वीर.
The BJP has hit out at the Aam Aadmi Party, calling the Arvind Kejriwal-led party a hypocrite. The BJP says that on one hand, the Aam Aadmi Party insults Hindu gods. On the other hand, the party is using the same Hindu card for elections. The BJP has called this an election stunt and an attempt to shed their anti-Hindu image.
तो किस प्रकार से यू टर्न किया जाता है, आज ही हमारे सामने पूर्णतः उतर के आ रहा है. आप सोचिए, वही अरविंद केजरीवाल जो थोड़े दिन पहले प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करके कह रहे थे कि अगर गलती से आपने दिवाली मना लिया तो आपको जेल में डाला जाएगा, आज वो अचानक लक्ष्मी जी और गणेश जी के विषय में बोलते हुए पाए जा रहे हैं.
The Congress has also hit out at the AAP for the so-called Hindu card, and the party says Arvind Kejriwal has absolutely no ideology and he's been using from victim to the secular cards now again and again to get the votes in the upcoming elections.
देखिए, इसकी ना कोई धर्म की राजनीति है ना जाति की है, इसकी नीरी नीरी वोट की और नोट की राजनीति है. इसको लगता है कि धार्मिक बात करने से वोट मिलेगी, तो ये धार्मिक बात.
53 wagons of a coal-laden goods train derailed at the Gurpa station in Bihar. The derailment resulted in disruption of rail traffic on up and down lines. Here are more details.
At least 53 wagons of a coal-laden goods train derailed at the Gurpa station in Bihar's Gaya district. The train derailed between the Koderma and Manpur railway section of the Dhanbad division. As per the East Central Railway, the train derailment resulted in traffic disruption on the up and down lines. Accident relief vehicles and a team of officials reached the spot from Gaya, Gomo, Barwadi, Nusokbo and Dhanbad. No casualties have been reported in the incident. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Arvind Kejriwal warns Goddess Lakshmi and Lord Ganesh on currency notes. Is Arvind Kejriwal a Hindu stunt man? With Gujarat elections on his mind, is he now trying to neutralize the anti-Hindu image? And can the Aam Aadmi Party even compete with the BJP's Hindutva? That's the burning question tonight with me at 8:30 on Republic. The BJP has hit out at the Aam Aadmi Party, calling the Arvind Kejriwal-led party a hypocrite. The BJP says that on one hand, the Aam Aadmi Party insults Hindu gods. On the other hand, the party is using the same Hindu card for elections. The BJP has called this an election stunt and an attempt to shed their anti-Hindu image.
तो किस प्रकार से यू टर्न किया जाता है, आज ही हमारे सामने पूर्णतः उतर के आ रहा है. आप सोचिए, वही अरविंद केजरीवाल जो थोड़े दिन पहले प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करके कह रहे थे कि अगर गलती से आपने दिवाली मना लिया तो आपको जेल में डाला जाएगा, आज वो अचानक लक्ष्मी जी और गणेश जी के विषय में बोलते हुए पाए जा रहे हैं।
The Congress has also hit out at the AAP for the so-called Hindu card, and the party says Arvind Kejriwal has absolutely no ideology and he's been using from victim to the secular cards now again and again to get the votes in the upcoming election.
देखिए, इसकी ना कोई धर्म की राजनीति है ना जाति की है, इसकी नीरी नीरी वोट की और नोट की राजनीति है। इसको लगता है कि धार्मिक बात करने से वोट मिलेगी तो ये धार्मिक बात करने लगेगा। आपको याद होगा एक समय यूथ फॉर इक्वालिटी बनी थी जो आरक्षण के खिलाफ थी, उसके मंचों पर जाके इसने भाषण दिया। फिर कहता है कि मैं आरक्षण के साथ हूँ। जिसने एक दो बार मुझे याद है ऐसे सम्मेलनों में कहा कि साहब मैं तो नास्तिक व्यक्ति हूँ, ईश्वर में मेरा विश्वास नहीं करता हूँ। आज देखो हर पूजा पाठ में बैठे दिखता है। फिर कहता है कि जाति की राजनीति ने तो देश खत्म कर दिया। जाकर कहता है ऐसे वैश्यों के सम्मेलन में कि मैं एक आपका ही भाई हूँ, मैं भी वैश्यों में से आया हूँ। फिर कहीं जाता कहता मैं हिंदू हूँ। तो इसका तो जिस तरह जहाँ जैसा वोट मिलेगा करेगा। मुझे तो दिक्कत ये है कि अगर इसको कभी कभी पाकिस्तान चला जाए और पता ना चले तो हो सकता है वहाँ भी जाकर कह दे कि मैं तो बिल्कुल पाकिस्तानी हूँ, मुझे वोट दे दो। इस आदमी की कोई अपनी निष्ठा, कोई अपनी समझ नहीं है।
Arvind Kejriwal has played the Hindu card ahead of the elections. The Aam Aadmi Party chief has appealed to the Prime Minister to include pictures of Lord Ganesha and Goddess Lakshmi on the currency notes. He says this move will help the country prosper.
आज मेरी केंद्र सरकार से, प्रधानमंत्री जी से अपील है, भारतीय करेंसी के ऊपर एक तरफ गांधी जी की तस्वीर है, वो वैसे ही रहनी चाहिए, लेकिन दूसरी तरफ श्री गणेश जी की और श्री लक्ष्मी जी की तस्वीर।
The BJP has hit out at the Aam Aadmi Party, calling the Arvind Kejriwal-led party a hypocrite. The BJP says that on one hand, the Aam Aadmi Party insults Hindu gods. On the other hand, the party is using the same Hindu card for election.
Republic Access says ZI is charged in the Harsha murder case, which reveals the plot to terrorize Hindus. Exclusive details coming up next. Coimbatore blast case unravels. Now ISIS link comes out in the open. The question is, was there a larger conspiracy behind? Tamil Nadu BJP chief Annamalai puts DMK in a spot, alleges cover-up by Stalin government.
एक तरफ गांधी जी की तस्वीर है, वो वैसे ही रहनी चाहिए, लेकिन दूसरी तरफ श्री गणेश जी की और श्री लक्ष्मी जी की तस्वीर भारतीय करेंसी के ऊपर लगाई जाए।
Race to Gujarat polls intensifies. Kejriwal rings in Gods on Notes card now.
केजरीवाल जी के पॉलिटिक्स को देखा जाए तो किस प्रकार से यू टर्न किया जाता है, आज ही हमारे सामने पूर्णतः उतर के आ रहा है।
From Kejriwal's Hindu eyewash jibe to fake bhakt attack, BJP tears into Aam Aadmi Party over the Hindu card. From satsangs to political visits, national outreach over parole for rapist Ram Rahim. Hello and welcome. You're watching This Is Exclusive with me, Shavan Sen. For hours put together, you were told that the blast that took place in Coimbatore was just a mere cylinder blast. There was no terror link. Had it not been for the Tamil Nadu BJP chief Annamalai, people wouldn't have really dug further to find out that there is a terror link. There's a larger concern. Finally, sections of the stringent anti-terror law UAPA have been invoked in the Coimbatore car blast. after 75 kilograms of explosive raw materials were seized from the residence of the accused, including of the 25-year-old Jamiza Mubin, who died in the blast during search operations in the last 2 days. Now, in a massive development, an ISIS link has also come to the fore, where the accused Feroz Ismail is said to be an alleged ISIS sympathizer. On this edition of This Is Exclusive, we'll get you full details of what's the ISIS link like and how is it linked to the Sri Lankan Easter bombing. There are multiple links that are now emerging. Only on This Is Exclusive, we'll get you full details of how the investigation has been carried out so far. Take a look at this report and then we go across to our reporters on the ground to get you the latest and giving you more details on the ISIS link.
As the probe into the Coimbatore blast widens, the findings suggest a possible ISIS link and connections with the perpetrators of the Colombo blasts. As the alleged terror link surfaced, a team of NIA reached the city and is taking stock of the situation. Initially, the explosion just before Diwali had been claimed as a cylinder blast in the car. Now, shocking details are emerging of how the links of the Coimbatore accused were stretched all the way to Colombo. 5 men have now been arrested and booked under the UAPA Act. Republic also tracked residents of accused Mubin who had died in the blast.
This is the place where he has been living and there are evidences of him living. The police have now locked and sealed the houses. Nobody can enter. And as you can see, there is so many toxic powders that is seen on the floor of the house. And there are so many things. We have been, known that explosives such as aluminium nitrate and sulfur and ammonium were taken from this house. And these could have been the evidences that the police gathered from this house.
BJP is calling it a terror attack because the key accused Mubin was quizzed by the NIA in 2019 over the alleged links with the ISIS. He was following a terror group's National Tawahujja Jamaat's ideologue Ram Rahim on social media and was in touch with him and his aides.
For 48 hours, the state government was trying to picture this as a cylinder blast. The DGP of the state was forced to say this is a cylinder blast. In the official press note of the Tamil Nadu state government, they were forced to call this a cylinder blast. It was very unfortunate. BJP Tamil Nadu did not have any other way to go than to go after the Tamil Nadu state government with evidence, with facts, to call why it is a suicide bombing, including the WhatsApp status message of the accused, and why the Tamil Nadu government and especially the CM and the police officers are trying to make it sound like some local cylinder blast. Very unfortunate, sir. Because Tamil Nadu, the internal law and order situation is getting very bad day in and day out. All kinds of anti-nationals are given a free hand to operate in our state. That is very worrying for us. I hope in the NIA investigation, they can go to the root of the matter and arrest all the people who are involved in this operation.
Harsha was one of the terrorists behind the serial bomb blasts in Colombo in 2019, in which as many as 300 people were killed. The cops also recovered low-intensive explosive materials from Mubin's house. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Getting in some more breaking news right now. We told you about the ISIS link that Mubin has. In fact, Mubin, whose body has been recovered, charred beyond recognition. The Tamil Nadu crime branch then carried out searches at his residence. Documents have now been seized from Mubin's residence, where a letter has been recovered which mentions several landmark locations in Coimbatore. This was mentioned under the head the tourist places to be visited. These locations include Victoria Hall, Racecourse, Railway Station. We're also getting to learn that explosives carried in the gunny bag was similar to the materials that were used by Ram Rahim in the Easter bomb attacks in Sri Lanka. Mubin had in fact tried to execute an explosion a few years ago in Tamil Nadu, but this was foiled by the police. Just a quick recap of what we know so far, and then we go across to our reporters on the ground. Big details emerging from the recoveries that have been made from Mubin's residence. There's a letter that has been recovered which was mentioned under the head of the tourist places to be visited, unquote. These local locations include Victoria Hall, Racecourse, Railway Station. And in fact, it turns out that the materials that have been recovered from the gunny bag was similar to the one that was used by Ram Rahim in the Easter bomb attacks in Sri Lanka. Let me go across to our reporters on the ground to get you more details. Tarisha is joining us from the Delhi newsroom, and Varshali is joining us from Coimbatore. In fact, Tarisha, I'll come to you first with regards to the latest development of the investigation that's been carried out. We're given to understand a document was recovered from Mubin's residence, and that letter makes a mention of the locations. However, it was in the garb of some tourist places to be visited. Take us through the details that you're picking up.
Right, Shravan, it is very interesting to note how scathing observations are slowly coming to the fore after the investigation has gathered pace. Now, the investigation has been transferred to the NIA, and 3 scathing observations have come to the fore. Number 1 is that documents were seized from Mubin's residence. Remember, Mubin is the person who died in the car blast, who is also the accused of the Coimbatore blast, and in that document, it had the mentioning of several places in Coimbatore, and the header that was given to it was a tourist place to be visited. So clearly it was a hidden agenda for whenever people or the NIA or the cops find the document, they should not know about what the clear agenda was, and hence it was named tourist place to be visited. Now, this clearly shows that it was not just in Coimbatore that the attack was planned, but also in several other places. Now, what are these places? These places were Victoria Hall and Racecourse Railway Station. These 2 were the major places that were mentioned in the document that has now been seized. Now, after that, we are also getting to learn that the link to Easter bombings that happened in Sri Lanka, in Colombo, is also coming to the fore. Remember, we are also getting to learn that the kind of explosive material that was recovered from the gunny bag that was used in the Coimbatore blast had a quite similar nature to that of the Sri Lankan blast that was carried out way years back. Now, remember, now links have also come out in the open where it is said that Mubin was allegedly linked to mastermind of the Colombo blast, and hence now it is very clear why the explosives that were recovered in the gunny bag is similar nature to that used in the Sri Lankan blast. Now, this is not the first time that Mubin has tried and planned an attack in the Coimbatore. Remember, we are also getting to learn from sources that Mubin had tried to execute an explosion few years ago, and similar kind of explosion, but this was foiled by the Tamil Nadu police. So here we have 3 major observations that's coming to the fore. Number 1 is the documents that point out that clearly there were many tourist locations that were under the scanner, under the bomb blast scanner that they wanted to explode. Number 2 is how the explosive material that was recovered from the gunny bag is similar to that of the explosive materials that were recovered in the Sri Lankan blast. And number 3 is that it is not the first attempt. In the past as well, attempts were made to explode the city, to cause explosions in many parts of the city. Shravan.
Well, thank you very much, Tarisha, for getting us the latest details. We're also getting in another set of breaking news coming in as far as the investigation that's been carried out so far. I'll also bring in Harsha right now. Let's put out the second big breaking news coming in with the investigation now gaining momentum. We're now being told that a possible ISIS link and connections with the perpetrators of the Colombo blast has basically emerged. Arrested Firoz Ismail, alleged ISIS sympathizer. Firoz Ismail was deported from UAE in 2020. Firoz was caught in a CCTV moving explosives into Mubin's car. Mubin was basically searching how to make bombs on internet. That's the latest details we are now getting in from sources in the central agencies, giving us more details of what has transpired so far with regards to the investigation that's been carried out by the Tamil Nadu police. Harsha, if I can come to you with regards to the investigation that's been carried out so far. With regards to Firoz Ismail, 27-year-old Firoz Ismail was deported from the UAE in 2020. He's seen in that particular CCTV footage. But the big question that's emerging, Mubin as well as Firoz Ismail, both of them have been examined by the National Investigation Agency. Take us through the details that you're picking up.
So if you see, Shavan, the situation here about these 5 accused who have been arrested, particularly we are speaking about Feroz Ismail, who's been arrested, and as we mentioned, he has been deported from UAE as well. He has been the person who has been having a severe, ISIS links, and we also hear that this has been going on for some time because he was the first one to be interrogated by the NIA previously also, because a few months ago there was a NIA raid that happened in Coimbatore district, and that is to be noted because the NIA officials did come down here to this particular Ukkadam area and to this particular locality when they came down for raids, and even at that point of time there was a situation where Feroz Ismail was also taken for investigation, but there was not any allegations or FIR against him, and that is why the reason they were able to roam around free in the city, and that is why this huge of a conspiracy was even able to be planned in the first place by them. But Feroz Ismail could have been one of the major played one of the major roles in this whole conspiracy, and this whole attack could have been basically planned by Feroz Ismail, and then the others could have even joined with him, is the kind of view that is prevailing here. But you see, every very important things is that even be it Jamesha Mubin or even be it Dalka, these people and their families, their fathers were also a part of several outfits that have been banned right now. Therefore, there has been a longer attachment to these outfits for these people who've been involved in this particular attack. It's not just they have been radicalized recently, they have been constantly being attached to these kind of outfits, banned outfits in the country, and that could have also been a reason that they have been easily able to access or get in touch with the outfits such as ISIS, and have linkage to that, so that they properly got funds from them, and they were able to plan something as massive as this.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Tanisha, as well as Vachari, for getting us the latest details. Republic TV has told you about the ISIS link that has emerged. There's much more than what meets the eye. We'll be closely tracking this story. Shifting focus to the other big story that we're getting you tonight on This Is Exclusive. Republic first told you how Harsha was killed brutally and the motive behind it. We brought you the chilling details of how he was attacked amid chants of Kafir Bajrang Dal ko Maro. Today, we will reveal the planning and the execution of this hate attack. We tell you how they plotted, recce'd, murdered, and even took selfies after the murder. Republic has now accessed the 750 pages of the NIA charge sheet, which puts out details of the motive, the modus operandi, and the murder. Take a look at this report, and then we go across to my colleague Prajwal, who's getting us the details of the charge sheet filed by the National Investigation Agency.
On February 20th, Bajrang Dal member Harsha was brutally stabbed to death by Islamists just days after the city became the epicenter of pro-hijab protest. He was hounded by his killers and murdered in full public glare. The NIA has revealed a chilling anti-Hindu plot in its charge sheet. It says that Harsha was killed by the accused to terrorize the Hindu community. The charge sheet states that Harsha's assailants were driven by hatred against the Hindu due to hijab, CAA issues, and also due to Goraksha activities. The NIA reveals that the sole attempt was to create communal disharmony. It asserts that the assailants closely monitored prominent Hindu leaders in Shivamoga in order to eliminate them. The assailants gave Kafir Bajrang Dal Wale Ko Maro war cry while inflicting cuts on Harsha's body.
Accused number 9 Nadeem and the accused number 10 Sadiq, who is the PFI president in Shivamoga, also harbored all these criminals after this crime was conducted, and also they were the ones who were responsible for wiping out the evidence in this particular case. So therefore a charge sheet has been filed against all the 10 accused, and some incriminating documents have also been seized. There has been WhatsApp chats too, which has been gone through, and they found out very sensitive material which could disturb the communal harmony and peace in the entire district of Shivamoga.
This is not it. The chilling details of the charge sheet also reveals how SDPI and PFI were mastermind behind the murder of Harsha. The 750 pages of NIA charge sheet that Republic has accessed details the modus operandi of the murder and how Harsha lay bleeding on the road, and they took pictures of his slow death. Digital data was later on recovered from the phones of the accused. Faraz Pasha's phone was the most damning recovery made by the NIA. Not only did they murder Harsha, but also took pictures as he bled to death. They took selfies with his dead body. Certainly, this was the murder that shook the entire nation. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Well, in fact, we've got 3 sets of breaking news coming in on this very story that we're tracking very closely. In fact, Prajwal has got an exclusive access to the charge sheet that has been filed. In a nutshell, Prajwal, just take us through the key findings of the investigation that's been carried out so far, and then we'll put out the details of the charge sheet that has been accessed by you.
Shravan, the key findings of the NIA charge sheet points out that Harsha's murder was pre-planned, and it was pre-planned 4 to 5 months ago by these group of 10 miscreants who were arrested by the Doddepete cops. And the second angle being the PFI and the STPI angle into this particular hacking of Bajrang Dal activist Harsha. And thirdly, as to how they executed this particular plan and how did they track the everyday routine of Harsha, and how were the movements tracked, and from where was one particular car which was brought in by a PFI, by a PFI president of Shimoga district along with the STPI councillor Jilani Shravan.
Well, in fact, let's put out the details of the seizure that has now been made. Joining us on this broadcast is my colleague Tanisha. Breaking news now that's coming in. We're telling you about the digital data that's been recovered from the phones of the accused. Faraz Pasha's phone was the most damning recovery made by the National Investigation Agency. Not only did they murder Harsha, but took his pictures as he bled to death. Then they took selfies soon after the murder. Let's go across to Tanisha, who's getting us details of the seizures that have been made so far. Tanisha, I want you to focus right now on the seizures that have been made following the National Investigation Agency taking up this matter.
Well, Shravan, after the NIA has taken up the matter, now several documents, digital data were recovered, also CCTVs were recovered. But what is most damning is the recoveries that were found in the phone. Now, this phone belongs to one of the accused named Faraz Pasha's. Now, Faraz Pasha's phone had several recoveries that were found, and these are all pictures. Pictures of what? Pictures of the murder of Harsha that was done. And not just this, after Harsha was murdered, she was filmed, and all of this has been captured in Feroz Pasha's phone. We also have recoveries. What were the recoveries? Now, recoveries where Harsha, after he was murdered, he was there on the road bleeding, and pictures and selfies were clicked by the accused of that murder. After this, we have also found that the NIA has also found Osama bin Laden's picture in the phone of the accused. After that, weapons, machetes, and also the dagger by which Harsha was murdered. All of this digital data has been recovered by the NIA from the phone of the accused. And the accused here is Faraz Pasha's, whose phone was recovered. And these are the details, recoveries, the digital data that has been found in his phone by the NIA. Shravan.
Well, let's also now put out details of the modus operandi. Republic exposed the chilling details of how this hate crime was committed. Let us now also show you how the murder was planned and then executed. Let me bring in my colleague Prajwal, who's going to take you through the modus operandi. Prajwal, I want you to take our viewers through the details that have been put out in the NIA charge sheet as to how exactly was this planned and then executed.
Shravan, now coming to all the details here, accused number 2, Mohammad Kasif, had extensively planned to murder Harsha because he was seen in prominent Hindu activities, Hindu functions, religious functions, raising out his voice against the atrocities against Hindus. He had also spoken largely about the hijab issue which had taken place in Udupi and had created a furor not only in Karnataka but across the entire nation. So from November till January end, the accused had gone on to plan this particular assassination plot, and they had purchased all the weapons from Bhadravati town in Shimoga, and later on that fateful night in Bharat Nagar on 20th February, Nadeem, who was the accused number 9, was tracking Harsha's movements for the past 2 to 3 months, and he spoke about, he was giving each and every movement about the details of Harsha, and finally Harsha was spotted by a group of accused at the NR road, and that is when one group of accused informed all the other 7 accused who went on to hack Harsha into pieces for 23 times, and they had also gone on to shout that Bajrang Dal ko maro, kill all these Bajrang Dal people, and after which they absconded and they had reached the Tungabhadra river and they destroyed all the evidence, and later the shelter was given by the PFI district president Sadiq, and the car which was used for this particular crime was that of the STPI councillor Jilani, and this particular car was brought all the way from Chhattisgarh, and later they used this particular car for the crime, and later the NIA took over this particular investigation and nabbed all the accused, and now have finally gone on to file this 750-page charge sheet against all the 10 accused in this case, Shavan.
Well, thank you very much, Prajwal, for getting us the latest details, and also Tanisha tracking the story very closely. 2 big stories on This Is Exclusive, stories that no other network has got for you.
Convicted of murder, convicted of raping multiple women, accused of castrating hundreds of his followers, that's rapist Gurmeet Ram Rahim, who for some reason gets parole again and again and continues to mock victims and families of those he has murdered. Our focus on the biggest story tonight is on the demand to end Ram Rahim's parole.
QS and THE, the world's foremost university rankings organizations, have ranked Amity amongst the top 3% universities globally, making it among the very few Indian universities to be included in both rankings. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
The Congress has also hit out at the AAP for the so-called Hindu card, and the party says Arvind Kejriwal has absolutely no ideology and he's been using from victim to the secular cards now again and again to get the votes in the upcoming elections.
देखिए, इसकी ना कोई धर्म की राजनीति है ना जाति की है, इसकी नीरी वोट की और नोट की राजनीति है। इसको लगता है कि धार्मिक बात करने से वोट मिलेगी तो ये धार्मिक बात करने लगेगा। आपको याद होगा एक समय यूथ फॉर इक्वालिटी बनी थी जो आरक्षण के खिलाफ थी, उसके मंचों पर जाके इसने भाषण दिया। फिर कहता है कि मैं आरक्षण के साथ हूँ। जिसने एक दो बार मुझे याद है ऐसे सम्मेलनों में कहा कि साहब मैं तो नास्तिक व्यक्ति हूँ, ईश्वर में मेरा विश्वास नहीं करता हूँ, आज देखो हर पूजा पाठ में बैठे दिखता है। फिर कहता है कि जाति की राजनीति ने तो देश खत्म कर दिया, जाकर कहता है ऐसे वैश्यों के सम्मेलन में कि मैं एक आपका ही भाई हूँ, मैं भी वैश्यों में से आया हूँ। फिर कहीं जाता कहता मैं हिंदू हूँ। तो इसका तो जिस तरह जहाँ जैसा वोट मिलेगा करेगा। मुझे तो दिक्कत ये है कि अगर इसको कभी कभी पाकिस्तान चला जाए और पता ना चले तो हो सकता है वहाँ भी जाकर कह दे कि मैं तो बिल्कुल पाकिस्तानी हूँ, मुझे वोट दे दो। इस आदमी की कोई अपनी निष्ठा, कोई अपनी समझ नहीं है।
Arvind Kejriwal has played the Hindu card ahead of the elections. The Aam Aadmi Party chief has appealed to the Prime Minister to include pictures of Lord Ganesha and Goddess Lakshmi on the currency notes. He says this move will help the country prosper.
आज मेरी केंद्र सरकार से, प्रधानमंत्री जी से अपील है, भारतीय करेंसी के ऊपर एक तरफ गांधी जी की तस्वीर है,
Well, there's a clear ISIS link that has emerged in the Tamil Nadu case that is being probed by the National Investigation Agency. In fact, we are now getting more details with regards to Mubin, whose body has been charred beyond recognition. But it turns out that there is a WhatsApp status message that was put out by Mubin. Republic TV has now accessed details of that WhatsApp status message of Mubin, which is being investigated by the National Investigation Agency as well as the Tamil Nadu Police. In fact, this is what he's put out. It was a poster that was put out by Mubin as his WhatsApp status message, and a rough translation is what we know so far. And this is what it reads, that if the news of his death reaches anyone, that he should be forgiven for his mistakes, to hide his shortcomings and participate in his janaza. That's the latest coming in as far as that WhatsApp status message written in Tamil. Slipping into a short break. On the other side, news and updates continue.
Style? For me, it's the pursuit of timeless elegance. Crisp, clean, classic, subtle brilliance. You don't know what it is that catches your eye, but it does, you know. The cut, the color, the lines. There's something in the essence of the evergreen. You feel special, selected. That's when I know I found the right fit. When I feel selected.
Arvind Kejriwal has played the Hindu card ahead of the elections. The Aam Aadmi Party chief has appealed to the Prime Minister to include pictures of Lord Ganesha and Goddess Lakshmi on the currency notes. He says this move will help the country prosper.
आज मेरी केंद्र सरकार से, प्रधानमंत्री जी से अपील है, भारतीय करेंसी के ऊपर एक तरफ गांधी जी की तस्वीर है, वो वैसे ही रहनी चाहिए, लेकिन दूसरी तरफ श्री गणेश जी की और श्री लक्ष्मी जी की तस्वीर.
The BJP has hit out at the Aam Aadmi Party, calling the Arvind Kejriwal-led party a hypocrite. The BJP says that on one hand, the Aam Aadmi Party insults Hindu gods. On the other hand, the party is using the same Hindu card for elections. The BJP has called this an election stunt and an attempt to shed their anti-Hindu image.
तो किस प्रकार से यू टर्न किया जाता है, आज ही हमारे सामने पूर्णतः उतर के आ रहा है. आप सोचिए, वही अरविंद केजरीवाल जो थोड़े दिन पहले प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करके कह रहे थे कि अगर गलती से आपने दिवाली मना लिया तो आपको जेल में डाला जाएगा, आज वो अचानक लक्ष्मी जी और गणेश जी के विषय में बोलते हुए पाए जा रहे हैं.
Convicted of murder, convicted of raping multiple women, accused of castrating hundreds of his followers, that's rapist Gurmeet Ram Rahim, who for some reason gets parole again and again and continues to mock victims and families of those he has murdered. Our focus on the biggest story tonight is on the demand to end Ram Rahim's parole.
Arvind Kejriwal wants Goddess Lakshmi and Lord Ganesh on currency notes. Is Arvind Kejriwal a Hindu stunt man? With Gujarat elections on his mind, is he now trying to neutralize the anti-Hindu image? And can the Aam Aadmi Party even compete with the BJP's Hindutva? That's the burning question tonight with me at 8:30 on Republic. The race to the Gujarat polls is intensifying. Arvind Kejriwal bringing in the gods on notes card now.
अरविंद केजरीवाल जी के पॉलिटिक्स को देखा जाए तो किस प्रकार से यू टर्न किया जाता है, आज ही हमारे सामने पूर्णतः उतर के आ रहा है.
From Arvind Kejriwal's Hindu eyewash jibe to the fake Bhakt attack, the BJP tearing into the Aam Aadmi Party over their Hindu card. The Coimbatore blast case is unraveling. Was there a larger conspiracy behind all this? BJP's Annamalai putting the DMK in a spot, alleging a big cover-up by the MK Stalin government. From satsangs to political visits, there is national outrage over parole for the rapist, Ram Rahim.
I look forward to working with the Scottish Government on our shared challenges because I believe in a strong, united kingdom.
And the newly appointed UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak facing the first test in the UK Parliament. This is the election season. The Gujarat and the Himachal elections are just round the corner, and trust our netas to play politics with every given opportunity on their hand. We are talking of the Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, who's known to play politics almost at every given opportunity. Now, this time he's appealing to the central government to introduce the Indian currency notes with Lord Ganesh and Goddess Lakshmi's image on one side. He says, let's keep Mahatma Gandhi on the other, but the real politics here is for the Hindu votes. Something again that has been able to keep the BJP in the state of Gujarat for the last 27 long years. This now is being seen as the Delhi Chief Minister's Hindu card right before the polls in Gujarat. Arvind Kejriwal wants a portion, a pie of that Hindu vote, and the AAP openly playing this Hindu card this election season. The BJP says Arvind Kejriwal is a Chunavi Hindu. First up, let's listen into the counter that's come in from the BJP here in Delhi. Then we play out what we heard from Arvind Kejriwal earlier.
अरविंद केजरीवाल वो काल नेमी की तरह है, मुंह में राम बगल में छुरी। ऐसे में इनका विश्वास नहीं किया जा सकता ये क्या कह रहे हैं। अगर सही मायने में आप इस बात पे गंभीर हैं कि नोट के ऊपर लक्ष्मी जी और गणेश जी की फोटो आनी चाहिए, तो आपको तुरंत अपने मंत्री इमरान हुसैन से और अमानतुल्लाह खान अपने विधायक से इसकी प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करानी चाहिए, ताकि ये पता किया जा सके कहीं आप सिर्फ राजनीति तो नहीं कर रहे हैं इस पे। और दूसरी चीज, जो आपके मंत्री और आपके प्रदेश अध्यक्ष लगातार हिंदू देवी देवताओं को गाली दे रहे हैं, राम कृष्ण ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश सबके अस्तित्व पे ही प्रश्न उठाते हैं, उनको तुरंत आपको अपने पार्टी से सस्पेंड करना चाहिए। तब हम समझेंगे कि अरविंद केजरीवाल आप कहीं से इस प्रस्ताव पे सीरियस हैं। वैसे हमें पता है गुजरात में जो सर्वे हुआ है उसमें आम आदमी पार्टी को 0 सीट आ रही है।
भारतीय करेंसी के ऊपर एक तरफ गांधी जी की तस्वीर है, वो वैसे ही रहनी चाहिए, लेकिन दूसरी तरफ श्री गणेश जी की और श्री लक्ष्मी जी की तस्वीर भारतीय करेंसी के ऊपर लगाई जाए।
कश्मीरी हिंदुओं के ऊपर हंसने वाले अरविंद केजरीवाल आज अचानक जो हिंदू बनने की चेष्टा कर रहे हैं, ये यू टर्न की पराकाष्ठा है।
क्या इतने बड़े काम के लिए हमें लक्ष्मी जी और गणेश जी का आशीर्वाद नहीं चाहिए? तो फिर मैं भारतीय जनता पार्टी से पूछना चाहती हूं कि आप लक्ष्मी जी और गणेश जी का भारतीय नोटों पर छपने से उनकी फोटो का विरोध क्यों कर रहे हैं? आपको क्या दिक्कत हो रही है कि आप नहीं चाहते हैं कि लक्ष्मी जी और गणेश जी के फोटो हमारे नोटों पे छपे?
The farman that Hindus can't celebrate their festival, that on Diwali day they should not burst crackers, just like Aurangzeb had issued such a fatwa and a farman. After the public reacted to that, now it is a damage control being done by this Chunavi Hindu, by this seasonal Hindu.
अरविंद केजरीवाल जी के ये बदले सुर देखकर, जो इंसान कभी कहता था मेरी नानी कहती है अयोध्या में राम मंदिर नहीं बनना चाहिए, वहाँ अस्पताल बनना चाहिए, मेरा राम लाला वहाँ नहीं रहेगा, जो कभी स्वास्तिक पवित्र निशान के पीछे झाड़ू वाली फोटो लगाकर दौड़ा रहा था स्वास्तिक के पवित्र निशान को, जिसके मंत्री, जिसकी पार्टी के लोग श्री कृष्ण, श्री राम, विष्णु, ब्रह्मा, महेश जी की मंच के ऊपर से शपथ ग्रहण कर रहे थे कि इनको हम भगवान नहीं मानते और जो इसको भगवान मानेगा हम उसका साथ नहीं, उसके साथ नहीं देंगे। जो कल तक ये कहता था कि मैं राम को, श्री कृष्ण को, लक्ष्मी गणेश को मानने को तैयार नहीं, दीपावली पे अगर इनको कोई मानेगा तो उसको 6 महीने की जेल में डाल दूंगा। दीपावली पे अगर कोई गणेश जी को, लक्ष्मी जी की पूजा करेगा, पटाखे चलाएगा, इनको मानेगा तो जेल में डाल दूंगा। गुजरात के लोगों ने क्या पटाया उसको, क्या उसके मुंह के ऊपर चांटे लगाए, उसको अपनी राजनीति से धर्म की मजबूरी समझ में आ गई और आज वो राम लला की बात करने लगा, गणेश जी की बात करने लगा, लक्ष्मी जी की बात करने लगा।
And a lot of reactions continue to pour into that big story. A lot of Hindu religious leaders now have also said that this is Arvind Kejriwal's election stunt and he needs to be called out for it.
अपने राजनीति के तर्ज पर वो गणेश और लक्ष्मी के अपमान करना चाह रहा है। ये सनातन धर्म का अपमान है। हमारे यहाँ सभी जगह लक्ष्मी और गणेश की पूजा होती है और उस पूजा का उद्देश्य जन कल्याण होता है और ये नहीं कि इसको नोट के ऊपर में गणेश और ये लक्ष्मी के चित्र लगा दिया जाए। यह उसका कहना है, सनातन धर्म का अपमान करना है और ऐसे व्यक्ति का मान जो है किसी प्रकार से सरकार को नहीं मानना चाहिए, क्योंकि उसका उद्देश्य है यह अपनी जीत के लिए, कि अपना लाभ उठाने के लिए और हिंदू धर्म, सनातन धर्म का अपमान करने के लिए।
Interesting is the reaction that has come in from the Congress party that begins with a veiled attack, then they go all out at Arvind Kejriwal. In fact, Sandeep Dixit of the Congress party here draws a Pakistan connection and he says Arvind Kejriwal is willing to go to absolutely any length for votes.
ना कोई धर्म की राजनीति है ना जाति की है, इसकी नीरी नीरी वोट की और नोट की राजनीति है। इसको लगता है कि धार्मिक बात करने से वोट मिलेगी तो ये धार्मिक बात करने लगेगा। आपको याद होगा एक समय यूथ फॉर इक्वालिटी बनी थी जो आरक्षण के खिलाफ थी, उसके मंचों पर जाके इसने भाषण दिया। फिर कहता है कि मैं आरक्षण के साथ हूँ। जिसने एक दो बार मुझे याद है ऐसे सम्मेलनों में कहा कि साहब मैं तो नास्तिक व्यक्ति हूँ, ईश्वर में मेरा विश्वास नहीं करता हूँ। आज देखो हर पूजा पाठ में बैठे दिखता है। फिर कहता है कि जाति की राजनीति ने तो देश खत्म कर दिया। जाकर कहता है ऐसे वैश्यों के सम्मेलन में कि मैं एक आपका ही भाई हूँ, मैं भी वैश्यों में से आया हूँ। फिर कहीं जाता कहता मैं हिंदू हूँ। तो इसका तो जिस तरह जहाँ जैसा वोट मिलेगा करेगा। मुझे तो दिक्कत ये है कि अगर इसको कभी कभी पाकिस्तान चला जाए और पता ना चले तो हो सकता है वहाँ भी जाकर कह दे कि मैं तो बिल्कुल पाकिस्तानी हूँ, मुझे वोट दे दो। इस आदमी की कोई अपनी निष्ठा, कोई अपनी समझ नहीं है।
नाम हमारा इंडिया क्यों है, इंडोनेशिया क्यों नहीं है? क्या बात हुई? ये क्या बात हुई? इंडोनेशिया की क्या परंपराएं हैं, वहाँ पर क्या व्यवस्थाएं हैं, वहाँ पर क्या लोगों की सोच है? ये भारतवर्ष है, यहाँ अपनी सोच है। कौन सी तस्वीर लगानी है, नहीं लगानी, ये सरकार को तय करना है। लेकिन इतना वो समझा रहे हैं हमारी सरकार को। ऋषि सुनाक को बोल देते कि वो पाउंड पर लगा दें। वो क्यों पाउंड पर एक तरफ किंग की तस्वीर लगाते हैं, दूसरी तरफ ये तस्वीर नहीं लगाते? ये तो अपनी अपनी व्यवस्थाओं का।
हमें ईश्वर के आशीर्वाद की जरूरत है, तभी अर्थव्यवस्था ठीक होगी।
तो ईश्वर के आशीर्वाद तो पूरे विश्व को मिलेगा ना, सिर्फ भारत को नहीं मिलेगा, सबको, पूरे विश्व को मिलेगा, पूरे विश्व को मिलेगा। अमेरिका कहता है इन गॉड वी ट्रस्ट, हम तो नहीं कहते इन गॉड वी ट्रस्ट। हमारे मन में आस्थाएं हैं, लेकिन हम तो अपने संविधान को सबसे प्रथम मानते हैं, सबसे उच्च मानते हैं।
So whether that is an election stunt or a genuine appeal, I think the voter, that is you, are the best people to judge that. But our next story that we are getting to in this edition of the news will not just again surprise you, it might just make your blood boil. But then, what about the netas? Do our netas really care? This man is a rape convict. He is guilty of murder. He's been charged. He's in jail. The man is Gurmeet Ram Rahim. Convicted for rape and murder, he's out on parole for the nth time. He's featured now in a music video that is raking up numbers on YouTube. He was convicted in 2017, then the Dera Sacha Sauda chief gets a 20-year jail term. He's granted a 40-day parole just about last week following an application that was filed by his family. The flashy new Punjabi music video that he has released on the day of Diwali again is making everyone ask, that is this why this man was granted parole and why is it that netas continue to remain mum? Our colleague Anuj Alia got us more on what we know about the story so far.
Oh, well, exactly. This is again becoming a controversy, and a controversy has been sparked by Baba Ram Rahim. As he's out on parole, this is the 40 days parole which has been given, and the question being raised by the opposition parties that why this time the parole is giving. It has been always stated about the timings, because earlier it was at the time of Punjab election, even at the time of Rashtrapati election. Now this is going to be civic body elections in the state of Haryana. So the question is being raised, and the controversy is around why the parole has been given. Right now I'm reporting from the same Dera. This is Dera of Bagpat, where Ram Rahim is inside at this point in time. What we have been told, he is doing his virtual satsang, which is on. As we have seen the video, is coming out with the videos also. There you can see and understand in the visuals, the people are still coming here. These are the supporters. These are the people who used to join the satsang. Even I'll try and talk to the people over here. Sir, अगर आप बता सकें, पेरोल पे बाबा इस समय बाहर हैं, बहुत कंट्रोवर्सी उस चीज़ को लेके है कि टाइमिंग को लेकर सबसे पहले तो कि जब इलेक्शन होते हैं तभी बाबा को पेरोल पे बाहर भेज दिया जाता है।
देखिए, ऐसी कंट्रोवर्सी कोई नहीं है। पैरोल लेना सभी का नैतिक अधिकार है, कानूनी अधिकार है, और गुरुजी के पैरोल के लिए अपने जिम्मेदार जो है एप्लीकेशन लगाते हैं, काफ़ी पहले लगाते हैं। सरकार कब देती है वो सरकार की बात है, लेकिन इसका राजनीति से कोई लेना देना नहीं है। गुरुजी का ना राजनीति में दखलंदाज पहले था, ना अब है, ना गुरुजी अपने।
जनता पार्टी के लोग, जो अभी वर्चुअल मीटिंग हुई, जो वर्चुअल सत्संग हुआ, भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लोग, डेप्यूटी स्पीकर हरियाणा असेंबली के, वो सब भी मौजूद थे, तो उस पर भी सवाल उठ रहे हैं।
देखिए, गुरुजी का जब कोई वर्चुअल प्रोग्राम या वैसे फिजिकल प्रोग्राम होता है तो सभी पार्टियों के लोग जो है, जिनकी आस्था होती है गुरुजी में, वो आशीर्वाद लेने के लिए आते हैं। तो जहाँ वर्चुअल प्रोग्राम है वहाँ किसी को विशेष कह के आमंत्रित कह के नहीं बुलाया जाता। अभी बीजेपी वाले आ जाओ या लोकदल वाले आ जाओ, जो आ जाते हैं वो वहाँ पे जो ना आशीर्वाद ले लेते हैं, लेकिन गुरुजी किसी को नहीं कहते कि बीजेपी को सपोर्ट करना या किसी को करना। ये श्रद्धालुओं के ऊपर डिपेंड है।
क्योंकि पेरोल पे आउट हैं तो कई कंट्रोवर्सी उस पर खड़ी हो रही हैं। अपोजिशन लीडर्स बोलते हैं कि भाई पेरोल पे आउट है, सिर्फ फैमिली से मिल सकते हैं या।
We're heading into a break right now. When we come back, we are putting our focus on down south. The Coimbatore case is unraveling by the moment. There have been startling revelations and a possible ISIS link. Republic getting you more leads on that on the other side of this quick break.
QS&THE, the world's foremost university rankings organizations, have ranked Amity amongst the top 3% universities globally, making it among the very few Indian universities to be included in both rankings. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
The BJP has hit out at the Aam Aadmi Party, calling the Arvind Kejriwal-led party a hypocrite. The BJP says that on one hand, the Aam Aadmi Party insults Hindu gods. On the other hand, the party is using the same Hindu card for elections. The BJP has called this an election stunt and an attempt to shed their anti-Hindu image.
तो किस प्रकार से यू टर्न किया जाता है, आज ही हमारे सामने पूर्णतः उतर के आ रहा है। आप सोचिए, वही अरविंद केजरीवाल जो थोड़े दिन पहले प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करके कह रहे थे कि अगर गलती से आपने दिवाली मना लिया तो आपको जेल में डाला जाएगा, आज वो अचानक लक्ष्मी जी और गणेश जी के विषय में बोलते हुए पाए जा रहे हैं।
The Congress has also hit out at the AAP for the so-called Hindu card, and the party says Arvind Kejriwal has absolutely no ideology and he's been using from victim to the secular cards now again and again to get the votes in the upcoming elections.
देखिए, इसकी ना कोई धर्म की राजनीति है ना जाति की है, इसकी नीरी नीरी वोट की और नोट की राजनीति है। इसको लगता है कि धार्मिक बात करने से वोट मिलेगी तो ये धार्मिक बात करने लगेगा। आपको याद होगा एक समय यूथ फॉर इक्वालिटी बनी थी जो आरक्षण के खिलाफ थी, उसके मंचों पर जाके इसने भाषण दिया, फिर कहता है कि मैं आरक्षण के साथ हूँ। जिसने एक दो
Welcome back. Now, this is a story that a lot of you have been talking on the social media. A lot of reactions being generated and a massive uproar over the poor hospitality to the Indian cricket team at the Sydney cricket ground. They were served cold food, stale food, and many cricketers have complained they could not even eat this kind of food. This is what has unfolded in Sydney. Nivedita getting us more.
Now, Team India, of course, had an amazing start to their campaign of the T20 World Cup 2022 by beating Pakistan, which means that when they're on to their next match, which they are playing against Netherlands tomorrow, in between they will have to take place in practice sessions. Now, why am I talking about this? Well, at one of the practice sessions right after that, well, athletes who are competing at these high-profile events require proper nutrition. But what they were provided with was far from that. In fact, Team India players were served cold sandwiches as well as falafel after the intense training session. Now, this of course raises questions about the facilities that are meted out to players of this particular caliber who are participating in a high-profile event like the T20 World Cup 2022. Now, although the matter was brought up by the BCCI to the ICC, they went on to state that they are looking into this particular matter. On the other hand, several reactions coming in. Now, will the official statement come out from the BCCI and ICC on this matter remains to be seen.
Let's shift our focus to get you more details of stories making headlines. This is a disturbing video that you see on your screens of a road rage that has emerged from Ghaziabad. This video shows a man being beaten to death with bricks. This victim is murdered over a parking scuffle. The victim is the son of a retired cop. To Thiruvananthapuram, where the left-wing students staged a protest against the Kerala governor outside the Raj Bhavan over the issue of the Vice-Chancellor's resignation. A mega face-off broke out between the governor and the state after the governor has asked more than 9 VCs to submit their resignations. Massive outrage over poor Sydney cricket ground hospitality in Sydney, where the Indian cricketers had to skip lunch because Team India was served cold and stale food after the practice match. Cold sandwiches were served to the Team India stars. The BCCI now has sought answers from the ICC, to which the body responded saying that they right now are looking into the matter. The former Indian batsman Virendra Sehwag has taken a dig at Australia, saying that Indians are way ahead when it comes to hospitality and the Western countries need to catch up with India. Khalistani groups have targeted Indian nationals in Canada during the Diwali celebrations. What you see on your screen right now are again images that have been accessed by Republic of the clashes that broke out in Brampton. Flag-waving face-off and sloganeering was witnessed. And now let's move on and get you more details as far as the Coimbatore case is concerned, because there are these details coming in on the accused that has been arrested in this case. Now, the man is identified as Feroz Ismail. He's 27, an alleged ISIS sympathizer who's deported from the UAE in 2020. Now, what we do know is that he's one of the 5 people who's seen in the CCTV footage You can see him moving gas cylinders and drums that were filled with explosives into Mubin's car. In fact, we'll put out those images on your screens in just a bit. There is Thalka, the man who arranges the Maruti 800 car for Mubin, which was used for the blast, and he's the son of Nawab Khan, who's a member of a band organization, that is the Al-Umma. Now, Khan is also an accused in the Coimbatore serial blast case. Why is this case important again? Because the agencies now believe that there are possible ISIS links, and this could be a part of a sleeper cell that went unnoticed for some time in Coimbatore. The BJP, remember, right from day one has been putting out certain evidences and facts and saying that the MK Stalin government has been sleeping over that evidence and took a long time to react. Our colleague Varshini also filling us in on what has happened on the investigations so far.
Right now, we are at Jamesha Mubin's house, the person who died in the terror attack, the cylinder blast that happened in Coimbatore's town hall. As we can see, this is the place where he has been living, and there are evidences of him living. The police have now locked and sealed the houses. Nobody can enter or go inside of these houses, and they have, during the investigation, brought all kind of things that were inside the house, and they have taken everything out, and you can see visibly you can see things have been put out after the investigation. But the main thing that we are noticing here from this building is that there are huge samples of some kind of products that we can see. These probably could have been leftovers from the chemicals that were confiscated from this house. And as you can see, there is so many toxic powders that is seen on the floor of the house, and there are so many things. We have been known that explosives such as aluminium nitrate and sulfur and ammonium were taken from this house, and these could have been the evidences that the police gathered from this house. And apart from all of this, there's one more thing important that we can notice is that very close by here to the house is the office of the PFI that was recently sealed after the ban, which is just few buildings away as we gather information from this site, which is could be a coincidence and could not be a coincidence also, but it is definitely notable that the PFI office is very close by. This is Vashni Rambu along with camera person Lenin from Coimbatore for Republic TV.
It is a strong network that is being operated here. And already our state president has requested that the investigation has to be handed over to the National Investigation Agency. And apart from that, we feel very sad that so far the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister has not condemned the incident, or he has not given any warning to the terrorist organization or the outfits that they are instigating this kind of activities. Even in the past, even before a month, in Coimbatore city alone, the incident of petrol bomb has been thrown into our office and several places, and our party office bearers and supporters shops have been